This video is brought to you by Manscaped. Stick around to hear more about the discount that they're providing to the entire upper echelon community. Okay, so today is a bit of a follow-up on something I previously mentioned, while once again exploring updates in the California versus Activision Blizzard lawsuit. If it seems like this lawsuit is dominating the news cycle right now, that's because it is. Not just me, but many other creators are covering this extensively because it will probably be, at the very least, an iconic moment in gaming history, but at most, it could end up radically changing the future for one of the industry's most dominant publishing companies. Everyone saw the title, so I won't really beat around the bush. A while back, when I first covered the story, I mentioned a TV show called Succession. The reason I did this is because the show contains a scandal where a subdivision for the global media company Waystar Royco is mired in scandal and crime when their cruise lines are found to be covering up crimes at foreign ports. This was kind of just a passing mention and really just meant to draw attention to a great TV show while making a point that what we see from Activision Blizzard and California right now almost feels like it was crafted in Hollywood, not the Justice Department. However, I made that comparison before additional details came out, and now that kind of parallel isn't just interesting, it's downright eerie. First, in the Succession TV show, one of the guilty parties that the upper management all knew to be predatory was named Mo, so they nicknamed him Lester. Mo Lester. Get it? As a joke? At Blizzard, they had upper management who were aware of what seemed to be predatory activity, conducted in a hotel room called the Cosby Suite. Not really identical, but kind of similar. Next, in Succession, there was a high-level departure from the company as a sacrificial lamb, they called it, because heads needed to roll. And we've already seen the president of Blizzard, J. Allen Brack, step down. However, most notably, and the subject for today, the entire Succession TV show ends up hinging on a scandal where very early on, knowing it was a problem, knowing what they were doing, an executive and an intern shred documents, which becomes a full-blown cover-up. Well, most recently, there's been an amended copy of the official California v. Activision Blizzard lawsuit released, and contained within that document are some pretty serious allegations. Update, adding this in postscript, it turns out, as I was recording this actually, Hogue Law over on the Hogue Law YouTube channel released his own video with much more detail on this exact subject, I believe. I still think my take is on point, so I haven't changed anything really, but his video is worth a watch, and I will link it down below in the description. All the way down at the bottom of this lawsuit, beneath a great deal of further information, but relegated to its own section nonetheless, there is a paragraph which reads as follows, quote, DFEH is also informed and aware that documents and records have not been maintained as required by law or by the DFEH's document retention notice, including, but not limited to, documents related to investigations and complaints were shredded by human resource personnel and emails are deleted 30 days after an employee's separation, end quote. Now, the email thing I don't really expect has much weight to it because that seems, standard? Why would you keep the emails and private correspondence of your ex-employees when they don't even work there anymore? And why would you breach their privacy in the first place to even know if you should keep them? Generally speaking, I don't see that as a serious offense, but I could be wrong. However, the much more important part is documents related to investigations and complaints were shredded by human resource personnel. That's like a real-world parody of the TV show I just mentioned. If there were actually documents shredded by Activision Blizzard, which were relevant to the investigation itself, or victim complaints and stories, etc., that's a big problem. That's possibly like a jail time level crime, not just a few fines. The issue, though, is that defining or knowing what is and is not relevant to the case gets incredibly complicated. With that said, there is a serious allegation here, one that changes the story from an incompetent or complicit corporate structure to a full-blown conspiracy cover-up. And like I said, I can't tell you where the charge will eventually go, but there are a few more lines of the lawsuit to read which give us further clarity. Okay, time to hit the pause button and talk about a product because the company behind it paid me to, obviously, and I actually enjoy their products a great deal as well. The product is Manscaped. They have an all-performance ball care kit that features the Lawnmower 4.0, reducing nicks and cuts, cradling those balls with care, the Crop Preserver deodorant, a shed travel bag, plus more, and also anti-chafing boxer briefs. You'll notice the boxers aren't here in my promotion because I'm wearing them right now. They're the most comfortable pair of briefs that I own. I could put a lot more into this ad because they have numerous additional products, but for the sake of time, the Lawnmower cut's great, their other products function very well, and they've been sponsoring the channel and noticeably expanding/improving their collection for quite a while now, making this a sponsor I am very happy to promote. For a limited time, you can go to manscaped.com using the link down below in the description and get 20% off and free shipping with code UPPER. Again, that's manscaped.com with code UPPER for 20% off and free shipping. Big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. So what does it say? Well, beneath the allegations of shredding documents or evidence, we can read the following. Quote, Defendants' failure to retain records that it was required to make and maintain under state and federal law is continuing and violates Government Code Section 12946, California Code of Regulations Title II Section 11013, and Labor Code Section 1197.5 by reason of the continuous nature of defendants' unlawful conduct. The continuing violations doctrine is applicable to all violations alleged herein. End quote. Well, obviously, that logically means we have to understand what the continuing violations doctrine is. And in 2001, the Supreme Court of California ruled on the scope of the continuing violations doctrine, stating that it, quote, allows liability for unlawful employer conduct occurring outside the statute of limitations if it is sufficiently connected to unlawful conduct within the limitations period, end quote. If I correctly understand this, and if I don't, just correct me in the comments down below, their assertion that this is destruction of evidence or document tampering opens up the application of a continuing violation, then suddenly, after that's done, a lot of these allegations from 5, 6, 7 years ago, they have a lot more teeth. This is the part where you need to remember that I'm not a lawyer nor an expert on the situation or the subject, but even the most charitable interpretation of these allegations, it doesn't look good. Optics-wise, California is putting a tremendous amount of pressure on Activision Blizzard, and again, where it goes remains to be seen, but with public opinion being what it is right now, even the simple submission of these amendments, it does damage. It is widely alleged right now by both current and former employees of Activision Blizzard that the HR department does not adequately handle complaints. Now, I have my own feelings about the buzzword diversity and inclusion stuff out there, which is one of the larger concerns that employees had. I have no time for most of that trash, and a lot of it is really honestly just manufactured. But if there are real complaints, they do exist, real complaints, real evidence of mistreatment, etc., and the department responsible for fixing said issues, which is what HR should be doing, shreds the relevant papers when a government body comes in to investigate all that, that's pretty clear-cut. To be crystal clear here, I'm not talking about routine record keeping. Let's say they digitize a giant box of files and shred them after. That's technically shredding documents, and it could have happened while an investigation was ongoing. Logically, you should probably just keep those documents even if they were digitized, but that's not the same thing as deliberate evidence destruction or tampering. We don't actually know what happened here, but the state of California has expressly stated that they are informed and aware that documents and records have been tampered with or improperly kept, as well as shredded. That's pretty much directly what they said. It's worth noting, in a statement given to IGN by Activision Blizzard, they categorically deny the allegations, saying, quote, with regards to claims that we have destroyed information by shredding documents, those claims are not true. We took appropriate steps to preserve information relevant to the DFEH investigation, end quote. Which means that either the state of California is lying, misinformed, or pushing something inaccurate down the judicial pipeline as a way to pressure the company, or Activision Blizzard is lying, playing with definitions to skirt legality, or honestly, really, who knows? The whole thing is an absolute shit show. All of this, in my opinion at least, requires a question to be asked. Is it possible that there was a batch of evidence destroyed deliberately, which opens the company to additional fines and damages based on that action, but simultaneously shields them from worse consequences, which would have been discovered had the evidence fallen into the hands of investigators? Is it possible? I think it's entirely possible, but keep in mind it's also purely my own speculation. Having watched this entire series of events unfold over time, it's pretty clear that, 1, Activision Blizzard has lost their public trust. In my opinion, they lost it a long time ago, but whatever. 2, their employees are not on their side, and they do face both internal and external threats right now. 3, the state of California is either dubiously subverting them with carefully crafted allegations, or they are part of an actual corporate conspiracy cover-up. And lastly, 4, the twists and turns are probably far from over. The lawsuit is not something that will just disappear, and every new revelation brings us further away from simple financial sanctions towards something possibly much more severe. A lot of this is up in the air. It remains to be seen what gets handed down, but a lawsuit this big, and especially this well publicized, is probably going to have a lot more fireworks before the end. Either way, that's it for today. If you want to support, there are links down below. Odyssey, which is a YouTube platform alternative, and starting next month, starting in just about a week, there will be bi-weekly exclusive videos on Odyssey, 2 per month. Still free, no paywall, but I'm diversifying away from just YouTube in order to protect myself financially. There's also Locals, $5 a month for completely ad-free versions of all the content. Again, just another way to support, diversifying. I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. Another gaming YouTuber to check out. Merch, social media, etc., etc. Also, and this is for the people that watch all the way to the end here because you're probably the best audience for this, if you want to support the channel, I'm an equity holder in a new product called GC Windsor. And GC Windsor is in the Kickstarter phase right now, so you can go to that. I'll have a link down below in the description. You can pledge. It's a new take on the necktie. There's a lot more information there, and I won't really ramble too much here. I'll put this in pretty much the post roll of every video. But yeah, as always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.